Adeleke. I'm a chartered accountant from Osun State, Nigeria. I attended Anglican grammar school, Began Medium in Osun State. When I finished, I went to Obafemi Awolowo University, formerly University of Ife. I graduated as a political scientist, and when I finished, I changed to accounting, and I studied accountancy as a chartered accountant. I qualified in 1996, and then since that time I've ventured into accounting practice. In 1999, I became self-employed, starting the practice fully on my own, and since that time I've not had any cause to look back. The truth of the matter is that it has been challenging. It's tough, it's rough, but there's underlying principle that I love my job, I love the practice, I love the work. I'm so passionate about it. I can do the work 8 hours, 9 hours without looking back. So this is where the interest comes in. Primarily, I have interest in the job. The truth of the matter is that if you start, if you are looking at the trickle of income that will come in, one could be discouraged, because at the time that we started, many of our colleagues, they went to finance house, many went to banking industry, doing fantastically well. But we believe that it's that you can grow gradually until you reach the peak of your career. So this has been very, very encouraging, and it has kept us on. So in these present circumstances in Nigeria, many times I look back, I look at the number of youths outside there that they will tell you that they are unemployed, and I always wonder why. Why? It's maybe the fear of unknown. Fear of unknown. But if I start, what will happen? How will I earn the income? And would my colleagues not be better than me? How will I be able to feed myself? How will I be able to feed my family? So these are the fear of unknown. But it takes somebody that has confidence in himself, that has confidence in his ability, that has confidence in the skill that he has acquired, to really pursue that path. But I want to encourage everyone, that's the best path to go. That's the best path to go. We have a lot of our colleagues that went to the employment when we started, but they are back now. But you cannot be as strong as we are, because we've weathered the storm. So my word of advice for the youth is not to be dependent on the white-collar job. You can do it.
Okay, my name is Babatunde Aguda. I finished from Yaba College of Technology, I think in 2001. That's been almost 15 years now. I'm actually a web developer, I'm an entrepreneur, startup enthusiast, and basically into creative designs, visuals, web and mobile development. Okay, so now first things first is let me first clarify something. There has to be a passion, and I think for me, I was passionate about what I did. In 1999, I started web design, so that was the very first thing that I focused on. Now, when I finished in 2001 and I saved, I wasn't really keen about getting a job. I think maybe it was personal to me as the kind of person I was. So the risk I took was actually quite, I think it was natural, because the fact was I've been practicing as an entrepreneur for 2-3 years before I finished from school. So when I now graduated, it was just an opportunity for me to test myself in the real world, not necessarily having to wait for anyone. So the risk I took was versatile. I had to look up to my father. My father was the first person that gave me money to pay for my office space. Yes, he gave me money for office space, but apart from that, I already had a computer. Having a computer was equivalent to being a workman, because you already had your own tools to work. Now, first things first, the Nigerian environment is very peculiar. You understand? Now, the biggest challenge an average entrepreneur faces in Nigeria is a conducive and enabling environment. When we talk of conducive and enabling environment, we have to talk of issues like power, because power is practically one of the biggest things. Now, funding is essential, but it depends on what you're doing. Now, considering the fact that what I do as a mobile web developer and also a graphic designer is that I wouldn't want to quit, because you have to look at the time you've invested in doing what you do. Now, if I quit today, am I going to start looking for a job? Where do I start from? But for the fact that I'm passionate about what I do, I believe tomorrow is going to be better than yesterday and than today. And my tomorrow is just guaranteed. Now, from the angle of the biggest challenges, it's customer acquisition. You want to get new clients. And considering our population, 180 million people, you just know that the opportunities are there. You just have to be able to tap into them. So that's basically, for me, that's it. Now, the first thing I tell people is that time waits for no man. It's very important that you understand that once you finish school, or even before you finish school, you develop yourself in other skills. Because the way our educational system is, it's more of theoretical. And that's a big problem, because it means that most times, once you finish from school, you expect someone to give you a job, and you get a job in probably the course you studied. You studied biz admin, you studied philosophy, and you're not looking for a job within that area. But the way things are, the way trends are going in the country today, you just can't sit down and stay idle. So meaning that if you studied, let's say you studied English in school, and you're looking for a job, it's likely you might want to work in an advertising agency, or probably get a teaching job, and no teaching job is forthcoming. So what I advise people is that learn other things and try your hands on entrepreneurship. Okay, so I'm a web developer today, but I studied quantity survey in school for 5 years, but I've been practicing today for close to 14, 15 years. Now, I'm just a classic example of someone that wasn't really ready for practicing what I studied. And I don't really expect everybody to be like me, but I feel that in a country like Nigeria, where there are no jobs, we can start as well as creating jobs by developing new passions and making it commercial, making it viable options whereby we can start creating jobs. I've heard of people that studied medicine, and today the person is into shoemaking. There's really nothing stopping you from learning how to make shoes. You don't necessarily need to produce the shoes yourself, but you could just be a designer and just have people, cobblers, that actually are the ones that do the finishing. So what you studied should actually just pave way for your passion. I think that's it for me.